we got some drama in the beginning. Now, Heather had organized this Lisa's lunch, this tribute to Lisa. All of the ladies dressed up in a different version of Lisa Barlow. And it was hilarious. Now, Meredith actually made a comment when Lisa walked out because Lisa was too stunned to speak. And Meredith had said she'd never in her life seen Lisa at a loss for words. And I don't think any of us have. She always has something to say. But I think she was like genuinely like thankful that the girls did this. And it was hilarious. All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bravo by Gays. It's me, your host, Larry. Just want to cover a couple things with you. First and foremost, I hope you guys had an amazing week. A lot has happened since last week. We're going to talk about some hot topics that came up in the news. We are going to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, that amazing season finale that they had on Wednesday night. We are also going to talk a little bit about Traitors, which I'm so happy is back. But first and foremost, I did want to let you guys know that we still have our fundraiser going for the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation, which can be found over at the link in my bio. That is still going on. If you've donated already, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And if you have not yet, but you're still looking to go over and take a look at that, and we are very appreciative for any amount that anyone is willing to give. We've raised almost close to $19,000 already. So it's just amazing. Everyone's really come together and really given so much. And we're all of us that are involved are so happy about that. But we've got so much to talk about, guys. So I want to start where we ended last week's episode at. So at the end of last week's episode, Bravo had dropped the seating chart for the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. And very noticeably missing from that seating chart was the Grand Dame. Karen Huger was not at the Real Housewives of Potomac season 9 reunion. People were speculating what was going on. Now, she does have her sentencing for her DUI case coming up in the next week or two. So people were speculating that she didn't go because she wanted to avoid talking about her DUI case at the reunion. Now, that I could see. I also could see her going and talking about it because it wouldn't air until after her sentencing anyway. So I got a little suspicious as to potentially that being the reason, but it wasn't. And shortly after Bravo had released the seating chart, there was an exclusive that came out at the Bravo Daily Dish, and it was also Random People and so many other news outlets that Karen Huger entered rehab, which is why she was not at the filming for the season 9 reunion. In a statement that was made, it said that Karen made the important decision to enter a private recovery program, so was unable to attend the reunion taping today, and that she was fully supported in this choice, and that Karen is stood behind as she embarks on this meaningful journey, and everyone is proud of her for taking such a significant step toward her personal growth. Now, I've seen a lot of comments even really speculating on the reason why she entered rehab at this particular time. We're not going to go ahead and I'm not going to go and question that because she's at least making the efforts to get the help that she thinks that she needs, and love to see that. So that's where we left off last week. We didn't see Karen Huger at the reunion, and that is why she's in rehab. For how long? Who's to say? I don't know, but that's where she is. I'm assuming. Actually, I'm not even going to assume anything. Well, next we'll talk about Karen is when her sentencing details come out, which will be in the next couple of weeks. We'll keep you guys updated with that. What I want to talk to you guys about next is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 5 finale that occurred on Wednesday night. Guys, 10s across the board for the ladies of Salt Lake City. They really delivered this season. Every episode just continued to get better. And I could not get enough of Salt Lake City this year. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I think that they should not touch this cast and that they should all return for the next season, including giving Brittany Bateman a snowflake instead of having her as a friend of. Now, with this specific episode, a lot of it was really focused around the last dinner that they had at like their resort in Puerto Vallarta. So we got some drama in the beginning. Now, Heather had organized this Lisa's lunch, this tribute to Lisa. All of the ladies dressed up in a different version of Lisa Barlow. And it was hilarious. Now, Meredith actually made a comment when Lisa walked out because Lisa was too stunned to speak. And Meredith had said she'd never in her life seen Lisa at a loss for words. And I don't think any of us have. She always has something to say. But I think she was like genuinely like thankful that the girls did this. And it was hilarious. All of them like out on their phones when she walks in, just like pretending to take selfies, was amazing. They all really got into character. They went to lunch and Lisa went up to the hostess and was like, I have a reservation for 8 Lisas. And like, imagine not knowing who these ladies are and you are at the restaurant and all of these ladies walk in looking like each other in the same wigs. I would have been like, what the hell is going on? They really played into the Lisa like character of like when the server was at the table just saying like, oh, like we're gonna get this and this and this, and everyone's like, I love that, and it was just amazing. Now, this is where it kind of took a turn because everyone had to go around the table and do their best impersonation of their version of like Lisa. So everyone was like, oh my God, I'm on my 200th selfie of the day. And oh, like I've got Louis Vuitton and Prada. You wouldn't know about that because you weren't there, but I was there. And like, it was just so good. Heather's version was like, I've got glam in Saint-Tropez. I've got glam in Paris. Like I have glam everywhere I go. I loved it. It was so good until it got to Whitney. And Whitney had like this Tom Ford outfit on, and she had done her version of Lisa, and then she had turned around to go like make sure that you could see that she left the tags on her clothing. So Lisa had noticed and I was like, oh my God, you left the tags on your clothes. And Whitney was like, yeah, I know. That's because I have to return them after this trip. Lisa hated that. Lisa went fucking crazy, and she almost snatched Whitney's wig off. It was absolutely insane. Now, Brittany had co-signed like Lisa's behavior, saying like, ever since I've known Lisa, she's been nothing but supportive, and like all this bullshit, like sucking Lisa's ass. It was just like so. It just like it came off a little thirsty for like Lisa's approval, but it was interesting because then Mary was like, why are you even talking? Like, you just got busted recording all of us, and like you have no, like, don't insert yourself into any of this. And Brittany had tried to kind of like take that focus of her recording everyone and place it onto Mary, saying that she had seen Mary recording out her window. And Mary was like, no, that didn't happen. Like, you're just saying that because you're mad that you got caught. Causing this confrontation between Mary and Brittany. And it just like, it was wild. Brittany got so upset about Mary saying like, you're just mad that you got caught, that it caused her to like storm off and really get like so upset about it again. The whole situation, saying that like she was so upset that people called her like vile and disgusting and she'll never recover from it. So she stormed off. A couple of the girls went to follow Brittany, including Angie K, who obviously we learned this season is like besties with Mary. Well, Mary wasn't feeling that. She was like, what the hell is Angie K going after Brittany for? Like, why is she following her? She's supposed to be like my best friend. I don't like this. Well, let me tell you, between lunch and when they went to do their afternoon activity, which seemed to be just outside of the restaurant, so it looked like it couldn't even have been more than like maybe 10 or 15 minutes, Mary had made the decision that she was done with Angie. And she went horseback riding with Meredith, Bronwyn, and Lisa, and decides to tell Lisa that she's done with Angie K. She wants nothing to do with her after the way that she acted. She like thought that she was like a good friend. She wants nothing to do with her. I can't. Now, if you are listening to this and you did not hear that portion of it, it's because this was on the Peacock's extended uncensored version. So go and watch that and you'll see some conversations that did not air on actual Bravo. And I mean, you get to hear the cuss words. Who doesn't like to hear that? It's always like a better version when you get to hear it that way. But I mean, it was just the Eight Lisa's lunch was just absolutely insane. Like, and it really like, it was just, I mean, it was the perfect ending to like a trip that Lisa had planned. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I'm sure had it not gone left with Whitney, like it would have been like, Lisa would have loved it. Now, we have to talk about the end of the trip dinner at this theme park at the resort they stayed at in Puerto Vallarta. Now, this dinner was absolutely insane. It is probably one of the craziest Housewives dinners that I have ever seen. It is, I mean, it was absolutely wild. And the fact that the ladies went along with the activity that they did at this dinner is mind-blowing, and I'm still not over it. So, at this dinner, all of the ladies are sitting down, they're chit-chatting. Bronwyn does this like nice toast in Spanish about like love and friendship and like all of this stuff. And the girls are talking. Well, they get their food and Angie asks Mary if she wants a pepperoni like from her plate. Mary gives her the silent treatment. Like, obviously you can hear her. She's sitting one person over from you. But we know how Mary is. We know that she gets petty. We know that she like can hold a grudge. Like, she can hold a grudge like and unlike anybody I've ever seen before. Now, she's giving her the silent treatment. Angie acknowledges it. She goes, wow, you're being really quiet towards me. And Mary was like, I know. And so they get into this discussion about their friendship in front of all of the women. And it was a very like heartwarming moment between the two ladies because you can tell that they really do enjoy each other's friendship, company. Like, they have a good bond. They're kind of like a Thelma and Louise style like duo, like in the flashbacks that we've seen of like them while filming. Like, they bought the same sunglasses as each other. They're just like good girlfriends. Well, Angie tells her, like, they're like, Angie's in tears. She's very upset visibly by this. And the fact that this all happened because she asked Mary if she wanted a pepperoni. Like, imagine if she didn't even ask Mary that. She would have no clue that Mary was even upset. They probably would have never talked again. Well, as they're going on in their conversation, Angie tells her, like, you said God brought us together for this friendship. And Mary, zero hesitation, says, I could have been wrong. Like, it just flies out of her mouth. It really like, it's like, I don't even know if she had time to even think of saying that. Like, she was so quick with it. But Angie does tell Mary like that she loves her and that like she's changed her life, and she's just breaking down, crying. And it prompts Mary to tell Angie that she's hurt because she told her everything that's going on in her life, and she had felt like betrayed and abandoned because Angie was attacking her, or I'm sorry, Brittany Bateman was attacking Mary, and Angie didn't kind of like stick up for her. And it was just like, I'm so happy that they were able to talk about it. It really allowed them to like open up their emotions. And it was so nice that they showed Mary talking about how like she has like abandonment issues. Like, her father left when she was a child because because her father didn't like Mary. And then her mom like just kind of distanced herself from her. And so she has abandonment issues. And she felt like in that moment when Angie decided to chase Brittany out of the restaurant that she was abandoning Mary. And rightfully so. Now, Mary comes off as such a hard ass with like a wall up. And it shows like it just like, it shows how protective she is of herself. And she like never lets that wall down and like lets people in on a different level, you know, and everything with her, with the other ladies is just kind of very surface and like, until she like feels they did something to her, unless she has something to say about them. Well, Angie says that Mary brought her sisterhood, and like they just ended it on such a nice note of like letting each other know that they love each other. And I loved the moment when Mary had said that she has always wanted to tell Angie that she loves her, like when she would hang up the phone, but she like always wanted Angie to say it first because she didn't want to be the first one to say it. It was cute. It was like cheeky. I loved the conversation between the two ladies. It was just like raw, emotional, great television moment. And I just hope it's not one of those friendships that like next season it's a flop or like something happened. You know what I mean? Because there really is a lot of love there between the two ladies. So I would hate to see anything like happen that would like tear that down. It's reality television though, so you never know. It could possibly happen. But as of right now, I mean, from what we've seen kind of like in real time, it seems like they're good. We'll have to wait until next season to find out. As the dinner went on and the conversations happened, after Mary and Angie had their talk, Meredith decides to bring up a situation she wants the air cleaned out on and talks to Whitney about her proof being fake about the information she had obtained, saying Lisa Barlow was the one that planted the story that Whitney outsources her jewelry through Alibaba. And Meredith finds this out because she received a call from the podcaster that gave the information potentially to Whitney. And this podcaster had said that never happened and that Whitney twisted his words and like he has receipts and proof and all this stuff. And it was just absolutely insane. Well, Whitney then goes to say that she has proof that Lisa sent stories like this to Reality Von Tease, like, which obviously we all know after last season is dun 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 Monica, right? So Whitney has this proof that Lisa has sent all of this stuff and worked with Reality Von Tease to like plant stories. Well, all of the ladies are like, well, how the hell do you know like this, like that this is even the case? And Whitney reveals that she reached out to Monica and asked her because she was desperate for any type of validation about this, because it just like she was like grasping at straws almost. And which is a little weird, because why do you need validation from Monica if you already had proof from this podcaster that Lisa did this? It just like none of it was adding up. None of it. It was absolutely insane. And this is where like it really popped off. It really went absolutely insane. And Heather gives this speech and she says, look at us. We're obsessed with finding the proof and the receipts, trying to poke holes in each other's stories and expose each other. Heather looks at Whitney and says, look at you letting a stranger from the internet get between you and your friend. And it's so true, right? Now, listen, I obviously am on Instagram. I don't ever like interact with the cast like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I will always like comment something positive on their post, or like if I like send them like, oh my God, like love this moment from the show. Like it's never real. I've never, ever exchanged information that I've received from someone to give to someone to use on the show. It's almost like you're at that point, you're a little too close to the sun. Like you're not part of the show. The show is about the ladies and their friendships. Well, Heather then says like every day we have to put on our armor and fight the world for the bad things that they say about them, and they shouldn't have to fight each other, meaning them amongst each other at the table. And this is what prompts Heather to come up with this activity that she did. Now, this activity was wild, you guys. Like, it was absolutely insane. And I really hope that you know what though, like as crazy as it was, it would be hilarious to see like if other franchises like do this. I don't think they will because like then it's just like people will literally complain and be like, didn't we just see this activity like on last season in Salt Lake City? Well, this is what Heather thought would be a good idea. She looks at the table and she says, find the worst thing that we've said about someone at this table in your text messages. And you're going to give that text message to the person and read it out loud to the group. Now, let me tell you, I've said it since it aired last night. By the time Heather was even done telling the group what the activity was going to be, my phone would have been in the water at the bottom of that lake next to the table that they were sitting at for dinner. What phone? I don't even know what a phone is. My phone is dead. I've never had a phone. There's no way I would ever participate in that because not everyone is strong enough to hear what people say about them behind their backs. Now, if you are one person that's going to sit there and say, like, I've never said something bad about someone or mean about someone to somebody else, you're a liar. You're a liar. Everybody has done it. You just would never expose it to that person. And the fact that they went around and like did this was insane. So Mary gives Heather her phone and she kicks off this like circle of fire. And Mary gives Heather the text that she wrote about her. And Mary essentially had said like, she thinks fame has changed Heather and that it went to her head and turned her into a mean person. And she wishes that Heather was the way she was before all of this. And because she loves Heather. Heather received it. She explained herself and said that she doesn't feel mean in her heart. She feels grateful for everything that she has because she's lost so much before. And the two of them have a nice moment at the end of Heather reading that text message and clean slate. They're moving forward. Next up, Brittany. Brittany gives Mary her phone and it's a text message that she had sent someone about Mary. Now, she said, I want Bronwyn to come over for tea instead of Mary. That was the text. Now, Brittany, be so fucking for real right now because that is not the worst thing that you have said about anyone at that table. It just like, I just don't believe it. You need to go into your deleteds and like look for other stuff that you have said because I know it's in your phone. It has to be. These ladies just tore you up saying that you are grimy and vicious and an asshole and all like blamed you. Like they tore you up for a full Sprinter van ride because they thought that you were recording what was going on the bus. You're going to tell me you did not say one mean thing about them after that to anyone? Or after Angie K told you that you had big body count hair or someone called you a slut or they like made fun of you for always having to make an announcement. You didn't say one worse thing than I want Bronwyn to come over for tea instead of Mary. It's hard to believe. I don't believe it. But Mary was like, okay, great. Like she did not even care about it. And I don't think any of the other women at the table even believed that that was the worst thing that was in Brittany's phone. It was so ridiculous. So next up we have Brittany. We have Bronwyn. Bronwyn shared a text that she had sent to someone about Brittany. And Brittany read the text aloud to the table. It said, Brittany is emotionally manipulative. She trauma bonds in her relationship and is doing it to us. And it's below her intelligence level and it's embarrassing. Now, Bronwyn does say, listen, I know it's harsh, but this is how I felt. And I'm take it or leave it. I'd love to move forward with you. If you're saying that this person is not you, I want to know who like the real you is. In the uncensored version and extended version on Peacock, Brittany gives a little bit deeper into how she feels about this, saying it's very harsh. Bronwyn doesn't know her. That's not how she is. She can't believe that this is what she had to say about her because it's not how she is as a person. Okay, whatever. Brittany really does say that she wants to move forward with Bronwyn as well. So they're good. So far we have Heather and Mary that are good. We have Brittany and Mary. Mary doesn't give a shit about Brittany, so who knows where they stand. But we have Mary and Heather that are good, and Bronwyn and Brittany so far. Well, here we go. It is now time for Angie to go next. Angie has a text that she had sent Heather about Bronwyn. Now, when I tell you I almost fell off the couch after hearing this text message read aloud by the person it was about, I almost fell through the floor. This was insane. Angie shares her text about Bronwyn, and this is the text. Bronwyn seems nice. I like her business plan. Marrying a guy who has 1 foot in the grave and 1 on a banana peel. But I like mine better. I'd rather be self-made. She's nice, but she doesn't listen because her ears are stitched down to her face so tight she can't hear anything. She wears a hot dog outfit to remind us that she sucked her way to the top. I'm done. Deceased, 6 feet underground. Angie tore her to shreds and had to sit there and listen to her read it out loud. And at the beginning of Bronwyn reading it, all she said was, Bronwyn seems nice. And then Bronwyn starts like, sorry, I'm trying to make like a cracky, like crying voice. And Angie's like, oh my God, she's crying already in the first couple of words. Like, but let me tell you, God bless these girls for having the strength to receive what is being said about them and not react. Because if that were me, the person would have ended up in the lake. Like, I would have thrown a drink, a plate. I would have tore someone's ass up with my words. It is just crazy. They all have so much self-control, and I literally applaud them for that. I've been thinking about that text message since it aired on TV last night, and I've watched the finale 3 times. And I've watched that specific scene 25 to 30. It was so absolutely crazy. Now, that is definitely the meanest thing in Angie's phone because that was brutal. So you know what I mean? Like, but if she said that about Bronwyn, what has she said about someone else? Be thankful that you do not have to hear what she has said about you, because I'm surprised. Actually, I was going to say I'm surprised that they weren't in tears. They were all in tears. They were all crying. Now, we didn't get to see Lisa or Meredith's text messages revealed because it just like got so crazy. It got so crazy at the dinner. But in the extended version, again, guys, get on the Peacock train. Lisa's text was revealed, and she had sent a text to Meredith that said, or she had sent a text about Meredith to someone that said, I feel like Meredith digs up information to weaponize it, and it's fucking dirty, and I don't like it. Now, do not get me wrong. I love, love, love Lisa Barlow, but I don't believe that was the meanest thing in Lisa's phone, especially after her hot mic moment about Meredith being a garbage whore who has fucked half of New York City. Now, I get that you're trying to move on. So I like, good. She did that. Didn't get brought up. They moved on from that. I don't believe I just don't believe it. Now, listen, they got to pick and choose what text messages they wanted to share. So maybe she just didn't want to go that below the belt and wanted to keep it a little bit nicer. But Meredith hands Lisa back her phone and says, oh, that we were in a bad spot when this was said. Like, it's okay. They are in such a great space now. Lisa mentioned on Watch What Happens Live. So they are another one that was good. They moved on. Now it's time for Heather to reveal her text. And she had sent someone a text about Whitney. And Whitney, before she even got Heather's phone, said, I'm already heartbroken about this. And she broke down in tears before she even read the text out loud. Heather's text about Whitney said, Whitney is a low-life, thirsty piece of shit. She sold her soul for fame and recognition. She's a snake, and I should have never trusted her. I've been so stupid and loyal carrying her stupid Wild Rose products, even though I never sold a fucking one. Now, don't forget, these are the cousins, right? It was, I can't, it was just insane. Now, I get the reasoning behind Heather wanting to do this. She wanted the worst things to come out so they can burn them. Clean slate for everyone, move forward. You already know what the worst thing is that we've said about each other. Let's not let any outsiders in our circle and like infiltrate this and stir up drama. Like, if anything happens, it'll be amongst us, not from the outside world. Well, everyone took it. Everyone took the text about them the way that was intended, except for Lisa. Now, Whitney had shared a text that she had wrote to Angie about Lisa Barlow. Whitney gives Lisa her phone so Lisa can read the text message, and Lisa reads it out loud. Whitney's text says, so I was at a party with Justin and a woman approached us saying, if we ever want to bring in a third, she's our girl. In fact, Lisa and John can vouch for her because she's made out with Lisa while jerking John off. Lisa threw the phone back at Whitney and was like, what the fuck? What? I mean, Lisa freaks out. She is freaking out. And Whitney just says, like, this is what the worst thing I've said about you. And I want to burn it and be done. Now, granted, it's something that hasn't been brought up to the group, but they never said that it had to be something that was already talked about. Lisa's main thing was like, no one else's was sexual. Why do you have to make everything about me, about my marriage and like all of these rumors? And listen, I get what Lisa's saying. She felt attacked, but that wasn't the point of the game. But she also made it a great television moment. Like, she freaked out. And ended up bringing Angie into it. And she tried to make an analogy. And I could hear her at the table say like, well, I heard that Sean does circle jerks. And she said something like it's like she just kind of said the same thing about me just now. Like, that is like how it came across. Like, no, it wasn't. But Andy did tell Lisa on Watch What Happens Live, like, let me tell you one thing about analogies. It does not work on Housewives. Like, it was just absolutely insane. And I couldn't. It was, you guys got to watch the extended version again on Peacock because they get more into conversation. The ladies' reactions, you get to see more about the end of that episode. But it just ended. They did their season, like their ending cards, and we got the preview for the first part of the three-part finale, three-part reunion, and it's I'm just so sad that the season's over. Like, thank God we still have them for 3 more weeks because of the reunion, but like, I needed another hour of that finale because that was chef's kiss. It was top tier reality television. Like, I mean, 10s across the board, ladies. Like, you guys brought it, and it was very well received by the audience. I'm honestly probably going to watch that episode again. And I want to know what you guys think about it. So, like, I mean, it was just absolutely insane. It was giving, go around the table and tell us who you like the least. Like, it was, I mean, I can't believe it's taken this long for something like this to happen on Housewives with how like petty and like nasty that some of them can be. But you know what? We got it. It was a very very, very entertaining. So my hat's off to you ladies. And listen, we still got the reunion to talk about, but until season 6. All right, guys, while we are on the topic of Salt Lake City, it was put out on page 6 in an exclusive on Wednesday that Jen Shah's prison sentence was reduced again. Now, this is the third time that her prison sentence has been reduced, and she will be home before Thanksgiving of 2026. Now, in the article, it does state Jen Shah will be celebrating Thanksgiving 2026 at home with her family. Page 6 can exclusively reveal. The incarcerated Real Housewives of Salt Lake City alum is now set to be released from Bryan Federal Prison Camp in Texas on November 3rd, 2026, according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons Inmates database. Now, again, this marks the third time that her sentence has been reduced, but it has the whole entire internet talking about whether or not they want her back. Now, listen, every time an article comes out about Jen Shah, the conversation is always brought up about whether or not people would want her back on the show. Now, listen, 2026 is November 3rd, 2026 is still more than a year and a half away. It's close to 2 years away. It's not happening anytime soon. She's not going to be back on season 6. She's not going to be back on season 7. Could she be back on season 8? I mean, maybe, but it's not up to, it's up to the powers that be to decide on whether or not they want her back on television. And I mean, if they put her back on TV, let's just see what happens, I guess. Listen, I do not know. I don't know. I don't have any idea. Now, a lot of chit chatter over the weekend. Not even over the weekend. It was a lot of chit chatter on Monday morning because my girl, Paige DeSorbo, was seen at the Philadelphia Eagles game with a mystery man. Now, I mean, she looks great. She literally looked amazing in that Philadelphia Eagles jacket that was made by Kristen. I think she's a wife of one of the 49ers players, and she got Taylor Swift to wear one of her coats, and it just popped off. So Paige looked amazing. The internet went absolutely insane. Now, it was posted on Bravo and Cocktails, and someone from across the stadium had zoomed in and found Paige in a box with this man who was watching the game. Now, the internet went absolutely insane. I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I think she was just at a game with a friend, and people were just looking for a reason to read into something that she was doing because she's so fresh off of a breakup. Let the girl live. Let her live. Now, I made a little meme, posted it on Instagram, and it was just her in bed looking at her phone saying, Paige watching all you go crazy because she went to a football game with a friend. And Paige had commented on it. Listen, I love Paige. I just saw her last month at her Giggly Squad show in Cleveland. She is a cool girl. She's always been nothing but nice to me. We're good. Okay. She commented on that post and just said, I'm going to be outside a lot. Get used to it. And the internet went wild. It really did. I mean, the internet went crazy over a comment like that. Well, listen, she's a single girl. She's going to start dating. I mean, again, I don't think that man was a date. I think she was just there with a friend. But when she does start dating, we're going to have to get used to seeing it. As we're going to have to get used to seeing Craig start dating someone else. When that time comes, I mean, they won't be so fresh off a breakup probably, and we'll all be okay with it. But again, Paige is going to be outside. Catch me outside. How about that, right? She's going to be in the streets. And I even replied to the comment. I said, the streets called, girl, and you answered. And good for you. While we're talking about Paige, we might as well talk about her summer house roomie, Lindsay, who was in the press this week because she did a podcast with Amanda Hirsch from Not Skinny But Not Fat and got into really what her issue was with Dorinda back at the beginning of her pregnancy, because there were rumors circulating about Lindsay being on Traitors and then Dorinda talking about Lindsay's pregnancy. And Lindsay had spoken on her issue, saying that Dorinda got drunk at the Real Housewives of New Jersey season premiere party that Margaret Josephs had at her house and was running around telling everyone that Lindsay wasn't pregnant and that she had a miscarriage. Now, Lindsay said that she never talked to Dorinda about any of this, so she didn't know why she felt the need to bring up any of this information, because why would Dorinda know? Great episode to listen to if you guys want to hear all about that, because it was a full episode about Lindsay and the birth of her daughter, and it was just like good insight, and like it's just her and Amanda chit-chatting, right? They're girlfriends. It was a fun listen. So if you want to hear more about the Lindsay and Dorinda situation, make sure to head over and listen to Not Skinny But Not Fat. I mean, it was great. Guys, the first 3 episodes of Traitors have dropped. And let me tell you, I am so happy that Traitors is back. If you have not watched Traitors yet, then you can just skip the end of this podcast from here moving forward, because we're going to get into some spoilers if you haven't watched the first 3 episodes. So thanks for listening if you're leaving as of right now. Now, guys, I've missed the show so much. I miss that. I really wish they would just drop all of the episodes at once instead of dropping 3 and then making us wait week to week. Like, as much as I love the anticipation of the next episode, I don't have the patience to wait that long for the next episode. I need like instant gratification. But as of right now, your 4 Traitors are Rob from Boston, Bob the drag queen, Carolyn, and Danielle. Now, I want to know what your thoughts are on those 4 Traitors right now, because let me tell you, in my opinion, I think that the theatrics from Bob the drag queen and Danielle are going to cost them the game. They're constantly crying every time they find out someone isn't coming back, or like their like animations when they enter like breakfast in the morning. Like the theatrics of the way that they are acting, I feel like is what is going to give them away. Now, I want the faithfuls to know that if they want to win the game, they need to listen to Dylan Efron. He knows exactly what he is doing and talking about. He has already clocked Bob the drag queen as a traitor. He just needs to get more people on his side to believe him, so that way they can get a traitor out. He just has a good sense of how the game works, and I love him. I love him. I wasn't going to say I love him for it, but I just love him. He's nice to look at, right? I mean, we got Tom Sandoval in the house, who thinks that he's good at the game, but he isn't good at the game, because he's been wrong about everything that he has said about someone being a traitor so far. Chrishell ate his ass up in the first episode, where she had said that like a traitor needs to be able to lie, cheat, and like all of this stuff. And she goes, "We know that you're good at that already. So like, why wouldn't you be one?" And Chrishell did say this because she's friends with Ariana, so she thought that Tom was gunning for her because she's friends with his ex. Now, Robin I'm so happy she's there. Like, I know a lot of people don't like her. I love Robin as a housewife. I thought she was hilarious and just like had some funny moments. I don't need all of my housewives to be like over the top, fabulous, rich, and like all, you know what I mean? Like, I liked her on the show. And don't at me, okay? I probably don't like some of the people that you like. It is what it is. Now, we know that Dorinda was the first to get murdered. We also know that Chanel Ayan is no longer there. Robin said, this is the Housewives Hunters. And it's so true, because you never hear the Housewives or the Bravo people when they're together in the Traitors Castle say, we need to get rid of someone from the Survivor clique, or we need to get rid of someone from the Big Brother clique. Like, they don't operate like that. But everyone else is so quick to get the Housewives out of there. There are some funny moments in the first 3 episodes that I absolutely loved. In the first episode alone, there was a moment between Dorinda and Dolores where they were like, they both got off the boat to help the team, and they realized that they did it so quickly that now that people are going to think that they're traitors. It's hilarious. I did a full slide on my Instagram of my favorite moments and my favorite thoughts from the first 3 episodes. So make sure to go over to my Instagram and check that out. As far as who's already been eliminated, Dorinda, Wells Adams, Chanel Ayan, and then Tony. Now, I was a little upset that both Chanel and Wells are already gone because I loved the dynamic between the two of them. They really had the potential to be the next like CT and Phaedra, and we're not going to get it. I mean, we're just not going to be able to see it. And I'm sad about that. My girl Sierra is on there and she's given us looks. She looks amazing. I mean, I think she's going to be in it for the long game. It's just such an amazing season already that like I'm just excited that it's back. I am. And it's like such a good, we have so much TV. It's such a good time and season for all these shows to come out because our content is plentiful. Like we have so much to look forward to. And there's still so much we haven't talked about that we're going to hopefully be able to get to cover next week. Southern Hospitality and Southern Charm, I haven't even touched on with you guys. And those are my favorite shows on Bravo. So we're going to cover that next week. I mean, we just got the Real Housewives of New York reunion looks, and that finale's next week. It looks really good. I mean, there's so much to cover. So if you have friends that love Bravo, make sure that you're sending them a link to the podcast so they can come on over and join the party. Make sure that you're rating, reviewing, subscribing, doing all the things. And I hope you guys have a great weekend to come. And I will talk to you guys next week. Go Bills.